Welcome to another edition of our craft tips and tricks series. Today we are diving into the beautiful world of fabric painting using stencils. So this is a very simple but stunning way to personalize your fabrics, tote bags, t-shirts and many more. So we are going to walk you through the step on how to paint your fabric. So first, what you need to do is to protect your work surface. You start by placing a straw board or any flat protective surface in between the layer of your fabric, especially if you are working on a t-shirt or a tote bag. This prevents the paint from bleeding through the back and gives you a firm, even base to work on. Now the next thing to do, this is the surface we are going to be painting on. Now the next thing to do is to position your stencil. Okay, so you take your chosen stencil design. There are different designs of stencils. So you take your chosen stencil and place it on the exact area where you want your design to appear. Okay, just take a moment and ensure that it is properly aligned. This step will define how your finished design looks. Now the next step is to secure the stencil. So now you're going to cut strips of masking tape and use them to tape down all four corners or however the edges of your stencil may be. You use your masking tape and tape it round. This will keep it flat and secure on your fabric. And this step also helps prevent paint from seeping underneath and keeps your design crisp. Alright, so we secure all our edges, can you see, with masking tape. And once you are sure that your stencil is in place, is laying very flat, can you see how flat it is? Then you can now go ahead and pour a small amount of fabric paint onto a palette or a flat surface. Just pour a small amount. You don't need too much, just enough to dip your sponge into. Remember, a little goes a long way. So now we've done that. The next thing you are going to do is to damp your sponge. Alright, make sure you have a bowl of water with you. Then you damp your sponge. Lightly wet your sponge and dab off the excess water on a piece of fabric or a serviette. So you just dab off the excess water. Alright, you want your sponge to be a little damp, not soaking wet. This helps with smoother paint application. Okay, so you dip your prepared sponge lightly into the paint. Do not overload it. Then you gently dab the paint straight down. Can you see? You gently dab the paint. So you dab it onto the stencil openings. Avoid rubbing or dragging the sponge. So you just dab gently. And take your time while doing this. You don't need to rush. And remember, you do not need too much paint, okay? A little goes a long way. So you just dab gently. Dabbing actually gives the best results and it prevents bleeding. Can you see? Our design is popping out. So if you are using a stencil and you do not want to use all parts of the stencil, you can also use your masking tape to cover the parts that you do not want to show on your design. Alright, but in this case we want all the design of the stencil. So just go ahead and dab. So you keep dabbing until the entire stencil design is covered evenly. And if you do not want to use a foam sponge, let's say you want to use a brush, okay, you can make use of a stencil brush. Can you see the tip? The tip is actually flat, so this makes it easy for you to apply your paint on your stencil, all right, when painting on fabric. So if you want to make use of a brush, you can go ahead and use the stencil brush because it has a flat tip. So we are almost done. And after doing this, all you need to do is to carefully peel off the stencil and admire your work, okay? And note that you have to let your paint dry completely before moving or ironing your fabric. Can you see? So you gently peel off the stencil. Very nice. So this is it. We just turned a plain fabric into a masterpiece, all with a stencil, sponge, and a little creativity. So you see how easy it is to do this. You can always personalize your fabrics once you have your stencil, your foam sponge or stencil brush, and fabric paints. So let us know in the comments if you are trying this at home. All tools used today, including stencils, fabric paints, sponges, and masking tape, are available at Crafties. Visit our store or send us a DM to get yours. Do not forget to like and share to other crafters or anyone you know that will want to try this out. All right, thank you for joining us. See you same time next week. Bye for now.